Hello everyone, this is Gemini Jets 1975 coming at you with another video. This time I will be doing a realistic Los Angeles International Airport update. So, as you can see here, let me just go over and have an overview of the layout for you guys. So, Terminal 1, this terminal uh, I added, it does not exist. Terminal 3, 2, sorry. Terminal 2, Terminal 3. Terminal 3 is not open, but for this update and every other update, it will be. T-bit, regular but not west. Terminal 4. Terminal 5, American Spirit JetBlue. They used to have, I have A321s, but there are no A321 flights in the schedule right now, so I had to take those off. Then right here, Alaska and Air Canada are for T6, T7 with United, and T8 with United. So, okay, guys. Um, so I'm going to get started right here with Southwest. Okay, so right here in the corner, um, alright, okay, here we go. So right here we have operating as Lone Star 1, operating as flight 2821, will be departing for Austin. Okay, right here is, oh my god, so 737-800 as Freedom 1. Will be operating as flight 1245, will be departing for Dallas Love. Okay, right there is a 737-800 operating as flight 2335, will be departing for Houston, Houston Hobby. Okay, right back there is a 737-800. Alright, operating as flight 733, will be departing for Salt Lake City. Okay, right there, the first MAX 8, operating as flight 1472, arrived in from Phoenix. And then right here, the other MAX 8, operating as flight 281, arrived in from Honolulu. Okay, right here, 737-700, operating as flight 1760, arrived in from Las Vegas. Right here, another 700, operating as flight 1254, will be departing for Chicago Midway. And right here, operating as flight 2641, arrived in from San Francisco. And then right here, let's see, it's going to be another 800, operating as flight 1813, has arrived in from Denver. Okay, then we have some regional jets right here. We have an American E175 operating as flight 6264, will be departing for Seattle. And right there, the CRJ 700 operating as flight 3294 has just arrived in from Denver. Okay, let's start down here. Right here, an United E175 operating as flight 4752, just arrived in from Eugene. Right next to there, a CRJ 200 operating as flight 5419, will be departing for Fresno. I'll zoom in a little bit more. And then right here, a CRJ 550 operating as a CRJ 700, operating as flight 4652, will be departing for Aspen. Okay. Alright, so let's move over to the first Delta Terminal, T2. Okay. So right there we have a A220-100, and that one operating as flight 1471 just arrived in from Portland. Okay, right next to him is another A220-100, and that one operating as flight 997 will be departing for Sacramento. Okay, next to him, a 737-900. Operating is flight 763, just arrived in from Raleigh, Durham. Next to him is a A220-300, and that aircraft operating as flight 855 just arrived in from San Antonio. Okay. Next to him is a Delta Boeing 757, and that one operating as flight 519 just arrived in from Boston. Next to him is an A320 operating as flight 816 just arrived in from Austin. Then we have another 739, and that one operating as flight 1021 will be departing for Seattle. Okay, next to that is a 737-800, and operating as flight 1136 will be departing from Memphis. And then we have a second 737-800 operating as flight 933 will be departing for Indianapolis. Okay, then we have the third 737-800, the Sky Team, operating as flight wait a minute. Yeah, 933 will be departing for Indianapolis. Sadly, the 757 Sky Team has been repainted, but I'm still having it in this update. Okay, right here, guys, is an A321, and let's see, Delta A321 operating as flight 345 just arrived in from Atlanta. Next to him is a 763, and the 763 operating as flight 1379 just arrived in from JFK. Alright, there's the Sky Team 75, and the Sky Team 75 operating as flight 897 will be departing for Guatemala City. Okay, next to him is another 75 operating as flight 342, just arrived in from Washington Reagan. Then we have the Thank You Airbus A321 operating as flight, I believe that's 1568, will be departing for Detroit Metro. And then lastly, the Delta A350 operating as flight 41 will be departing for Sydney, Australia. Alright, so now we'll go to T-bit here. Alright, right here. Oh, alright. We've got the Austrian 777-200 operating as flight 81, just arrived in from Vienna, Austria. Alright, right there is a Virgin Atlantic 787 and 787-9, and let's see, Virgin Atlantic operating as flight 18 will be departing for London Heathrow. It should be a 788, but I don't know. That's a 789. Okay, right here, 763 LATAM operating as flight 2477 will be departing for Lima. Then we have the Qantas 789, and Qantas 789 operating as flight 12 will be departing for Sydney. Then we have the China Airlines 777-300, and let's see here, China Airlines operating as flight 17 will be departing for Taipei. Right here, the Air France 777-200, and the Air France 777 operating as Flight 79, will be departing for Paris Charles de Gaulle. Then we have the Korean Air 777-300ER. Korean Air operating as Flight 207, just arrived in from Seoul Incheon. Okay. Right here, guys, the Sun Country 737-800 operating as Flight 430 will be departing for Minneapolis, St. Paul. Okay, then we have a WestJet 737-800 operating as Flight 1696, just arrived in from Vancouver. Right there, the Aeromexico. Okay. Aeromexico 737 MAX 8 operating as Flight 646, arrived in from Mexico City. Alright. Polaris, I don't have a flight number, but he came in from Mexico City. So, okay. Then we have, the the Aer Lingus A330-300 operating as Flight 68 is departing for Dublin. Okay. Then we have the beautiful Hawaiian A330. And let's see, that one is operating as Flight 2, and he just arrived in from Honolulu. Okay, then right here is the Air New Zealand 787-9 operating as Flight 5, is departing for Auckland. And then behind him is the Air Tahiti Nui 787-9 operating as Flight 8, just arrived in from Papeete. Okay, so that does it for that side of the airport. And it is now raining here. Amazing. Second day in a row. Right here, an American A319 operating as Flight 2690. Just arrived in from Las Vegas. Right here, an American A319. Oh, I'm sorry, the Piedmont Heritage. This one here, the PSA Heritage. Okay, operating as Flight 2869, just arrived in from Austin, Bergstrom. Right here, the American 787-8, operating as Flight 374, just arrived in from Chicago O'Hare. Excuse me. Then we have the American 777-300, operating as Flight 137, just arrived in from London Heathrow. Right here, the American 738, operating as Flight 1794, just arrived in from DFW. Next to him, the American A321, and that one operating as Flight 814 will be departing for Philadelphia. Okay, next terminal, Terminal 5. Right here we have the American A319, the final one operating as Flight 767 will be departing for Phoenix. And then we have the final American Airlines aircraft, the A321 with Sharklets. This one is operating as Flight 2 and will be departing for JFK. Alright, next, and this is where I had to stop in my last filming attempt because, like an idiot, I completely forgot to write down these flights. Right here is a JetBlue Airbus A320 operating as Flight 1464. Let's see here. Operating as Flight 1464, just arrived in from San Jose del Cabo. Right here is another JetBlue A320. That one is operating as flight 879, will just arrived in from Las Vegas. Right here is another JetBlue A320 operating as flight 1732, will be departing for Salt Lake City. Okay, then we have the Spirit A319 operating as flight 955, just arrived in from New Orleans. And then finally in this terminal is the JetBlue A321. I probably could have added more JetBlue aircraft. Operating as flight 1524, will be departing for JFK. Alright, next we have Terminal 6. Alright, right here, guys, is the Alaska One World 739. And that aircraft, operating as flight 166, will be departing for Portland. Then we have the Alaska E-175 operating as flight 3463, just arrived in from San Jose. Okay, next, and I really hope I did this. Alright. Okay, the Air Canada 787-9, I don't think I wrote down a route for that. I think it goes to Montreal. Sorry about that, guys. But I did get the 737 MAX 8. Imagine that. And it's operating as flight 798, and it arrived in from Toronto. Okay, next is another Alaska. Wait. This is actually an Alaska MAX. The Alaska MAX 9 operating as flight 150 just arrived in from Anchorage. That is a MAX flight, so that's actually pretty cool. Right here is an Alaska 739. Okay, operating as flight 586, will be departing for Seattle. Right here is the final Alaska 737-900 operating as flight 343, arrived in from Newark. And then the last aircraft right here is the 800, 737-800 operating as flight 941, arrived in from Cancun. Alright guys, now we have the final airline here at LAX. Right here is a United 757-200. Okay, new livery operating as flight 2215, just arrived in from Newark. Whoops, there we go. Sorry about that. Alright, right here, they don't fly the MAX 8, so I couldn't use the new livery, but they do fly the MAX 9, and fortunately I do have that. That is operating as flight 353 and just arrived in from Boston. Okay, right here is the United 737-800 operating as flight 1680, will be departing for Houston Intercontinental. Alright, right here is the United 787-10 operating as flight 1996, will be departing for Chicago O'Hare. Okay, and then we have right here the United 787-9 operating as flight 935, just arrived in from London Heathrow. Okay, right there is another United 752, and he's operating as flight 516 and will be departing for New York's JFK. Right here is the United 739, and that aircraft operating as flight 1266 will be departing for San Salvador. Alright, almost done guys. Right here is the United A320 in the Stars and Bars livery, operating as flight 1260, will just arrived in from San Francisco. And then last but not least, right here is the United 738 in this Star Alliance livery. And let's see, that aircraft operating as flight 2070 will be departing for Denver, Colorado. Alright guys, so that is my newest video. My first realistic LAX airport in a really long time, and actually my first LAX update that actually looks something like LAX. So anyways guys, thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you for staying with the channel during this crazy time where I'm not making videos. I'd like to give a shout out to a whole bunch of people, but there's really too many to name. But just to name a few, Red River Aviation, Aviation JXXX. Then there's, let's see, JJ Skippy, you know, just to name a few. And Citrus Aviation, and it just, the list goes on and on. Thank you everybody so much. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next video. I hope to be doing some retro stuff quickly soon. I got a couple retro models that just came in. It'll be centered around, this time will probably be the 1980s retro airport. If you'd rather see the 90s retro, comment on that. Obviously there will be some changes versus the 80s. So anyways, enough rambling. Thank you guys. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, I will see you guys in the next video.